Ladies and gentlemen, it is a fucking beautiful day as we walk into the gym today. It is truly, truly gorgeous. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm really looking forward to today. Last session yesterday was really, really fun. First time recording. So we're going to see how we do today. It's an upper body day today. So for those of you who are curious about what my current split is, again, we're in a calorie deficit. Not that impacts that much. I do a 5-day split where I repeat the same cycle of things each 5 days. I train Mondays to Fridays, and that's a privilege, by the way. That's a privilege to be able to train 5 days a week. That is a privilege. I'm lucky to be able to do that. So today we've got an upper body day. It is not anything like specific, like I don't do back on one day and this, that and the other. I believe I've organized my workouts in a manner that I think eliminates a lot of redundancy, but then again, that's just my opinion. I've not had someone else really check that to see, so who knows, but I'm making progress, so that's a good sign regardless of anything. If the logbook says the numbers are going up, then what else do you really need? Today though, we're going to be starting things off because we've shifted some of our work around. You guys may know that I used to love doing one-arm pull-ups, but I've since removed them from my program 2 weeks ago in favor of putting in some more arm volume because, well, to be honest with you, I would love to be able to do a one-arm pull-up, but I watched a video by TNF and that motherfucker just fucking tried it and it worked. So I've been led to believe that training for it is a redundant prospect, and that if I just train with the intention of getting bigger and stronger in a more generic sense rather than a specific sense, I will see more benefit. And it's not like I need to, not try it every now and then, but like training it specifically, I think has become a bit of a waste of time, which is unfortunate because this is like the last calisthenic exercise which I've kept in my program. Everything else has been phased out. I used to do handstand push-ups, I used to do handstands, I used to do planche. The odd thing is, I haven't lost the ability to do any of those things. My handstand push-ups are maybe, yes, because those are a very coordinative ability. However, things like the planche, I was never able to do, but I've not lost the capacity to be able to do what I was already able to do. So, what are you going to do, right? Anyway, that's a lot of a disclaimer for what I've changed. But now, allow me to tell you a little bit about what we're doing today. So we're going to start things off with incline bench, if it is available. If not, we may choose to give the machine a try, because honestly it looks really stable, so I think it'd be pretty fun. But my incline bench hasn't been that great recently. None of my benches have. But what we're going to do is we're going to, taking into the feedback from yesterday, we're going to maybe avoid doing some pause reps and really see if we can do some really intense good reps, no pausing, and just see how that goes. I think that'd be a really interesting thing to try out. I think it may be the difference maker in terms of my bench performance. But if you see me arching like I'm Yoroichi, then I apologize in advance. After that, we're going to move into some, normally it would be bent over rows, but it's the row machine. So we're going to be into that. And I'm going to do a superset of rows and shrugs because I really like doing that as a superset. I found it from Ryan Dewars initially, and it's a really nice way of pairing those two exercises, and it just gets a nice chunk of, volume for each of them into my session. So I pair those two now exclusively together all the time. And it's I think the only superset that I actually do, because it's the only one that I think is productive or worth a damn. After that, we've got, I think, 3 more exercises. We're not doing any abdominal training today because I'm on a calorie deficit, so I'm looking to put more steps in if I can. And if not, then just do a bit more work in general. So we've got some cross-body extensions, specifically on the delt machine. We're going to be doing that. So we're going to be in the machine, going across our body, and we're going to do them unilaterally. So we're going to do one at a time. After that, we're going to move into some, probably in this order, some tricep extensions, which will be for the first time I've done those in a very long time. And we're going to do bilateral tricep extensions because I want to give them a try. And that'll be with a, a thing, a bar. Yeah, that's the word. And I just want to kind of experiment with those because I recently changed to doing overhead ones, but it does not bias the long head of the triceps. So I learned that, and that's one of the things I actually want to do with that because I already have a movement pattern in my program. I have skull crushers already, and doing that and overhead extensions is the exact same movement pattern. So I need to get a downward movement. And then the final movement we'll do is a bicep curl. I don't know if we'll be able to record those, but that's okay. That's currently the program for today. Everything we're doing is one set, and we're looking at usually anywhere from 4 to 6 reps on any of these that we're working with. We're gonna see how that goes, because again, calorie deficit. But with the changes to maybe some of my cueing, my internal cueing, and going, okay, right, let's make sure we're not pausing our reps. You know, that kind of remains to be seen if I choose to do that or not, but I think we'll see some very, very good work come out of what we've got on today. I'm excited. Yeah, so let's stop fucking around and get into the warm-up, maybe. I've already actually warmed up, by the way, in case you guys are curious. I don't film my warm-ups or my stretch-outs because they just take too fucking long. But let's get into my sport-specific warm-up, shall we? Which by that I mean we're just gonna start moving the weight in the manner that we intend to lift it. And we'll see where the fuck we go from there.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to be warming up our incline bench here. I really like this implement that my gym has. All we're looking to do is kind of train out, I suppose, the pause reps that I'd normally do. Still keeping that eccentric, but converting rather nicely to a concentric. Now, those of you who are unfamiliar, I've already done a warm-up, but the purposes of doing a warm-up are to make sure that you are preventing injury and making sure that you're ready to actually move the weight you're looking to move. Now, I know you guys can't see my face, but trust me, you wouldn't want to be following me around while I'm doing this. So, what we're doing here is preparing our pecs to move weight with a great deal of force, or as much force as we're able to produce given the load. Currently, our working weight is somewhere around 70 kilos, I think. 70, 80 kilos. It's somewhere in there. But this is the first time I've done inclines as my first exercise. I normally do, those the single arm pull-ups that I told you about. So this is really about taking some care while warming up. So we're using a stretch shortening cycle to really get the weight moving up there. But one of the main things we need to be curious about, I suppose, is that conversion. Because again, I feel like that's where pec tears happen. So we're going to be a little bit cautious about it. And we're working up to 77.5 today. So let's see what that looks like on our bar. 77.5. Also, always log your workouts, because I went through about a 2-3 years period of not doing that. And I can tell you right now, it shows. Cool, so we just have another 8.75 kilos put on here. So we're gonna do another warm-up set with 5 kilos, and then we will be jumping into our main set. Again, I know you guys can't see me, but the purpose of a warm-up is not to build any kind of fatigue. We're not trying to stimulate ourselves in this. We're just trying to lubricate the fibers, lubricate the joints, not the fibers, sorry, and prepare ourselves to move the heavy weight. We don't want to accrue any damage here. We're not looking to train anywhere near failure. This is just a feeder set, if you will, to prepare us. Also, always lift, no matter the weight, with the same technique that you would do, which is why I'm gonna go quiet now. Cool. Now you'll notice I went down to 2 reps there, because again, my repetition maximum for this is around like 4 reps, maybe 5 now that I'm not doing pause reps. So I really don't want to get any fatigue. And also, now that I've done that, that's my last set now before I actually get into my main set. So we're gonna need to rest. And I really mean that. Like, we don't want any damage, we don't want any fatigue going into this. We don't really want any sensations if we can help it. We want it to be as clean as we can be. So now I'm gonna rest up, and then we're gonna get this going. But this will be a total of 77.5, looking for, pushing for 5 reps. And I think, honestly, I'm feeling a bit motivated. I think we might get that. I think we might get that. So we're gonna go, and we're just gonna walk in, get locked and loaded, get it going.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's go time. I did realize that my goal for this is 4 reps, not 5, but that's okay.
I still think we're gonna have some good performance here with the non-pausing of my reps. So we're gonna get things going. All right, I have a swing from the Spider-Man 2 game soundtrack currently locked and loaded. Turn it up a little bit. There we go. Here's a good song, man. Curate that playlist. Here we go. Hell yeah.
3, 2, 1. Much appreciated, bro. I was gonna bail it, but I will appreciate it, man. That's me.
Yeah, fair. I was watching that last one. You were probably fighting for it. But
I was really fine. I was gonna bail it, but you know, there we are. I appreciate it. Do you need a spot?
I'm good with
You're good. Good stuff,
Let me
man.
know if you were doing another one.
I will do. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You recording as well?
I am. Yeah. On that little guy there.
Oh yeah. Why? What'd you do? Like YouTube?
Well, actually, this is my second YouTube video that I'll be doing with this, which is very, very fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, and actually, I think I'm gonna hop into another one for another 1 rep.
Yeah.
So if you could try and catch me for that 2nd rep, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. Let me know when you're ready for it.
Cool. Otherwise, it's just gonna go that way. Cool. Rightio. Let's hop in. I'm just doing 1 rep by myself, and then I'll probably help with the 2nd one.
All right. Forward. Forward. Nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you so much. Have a good workout, man. Appreciate it. Well, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Really, really incredible set. Thanks to a very kind gentleman there who's just helped me out. This, by the way, this is gym culture. Help each other out. I'm normally used to bailing my reps, so I just throw them out. Or, you know, I put them down in my gut and I stand up, but, you know, if you're in a gym, man, don't be afraid to ask for help. It is okay. I am used to training alone, but this is part of the fun of going to a gym, is being part of the community of that gym. And this gym has been nothing but good to me. I think I've had like 1 or 2, you know, kind of sour encounters, and they were from just, you know, not the people who I'd normally associate myself with, so that's completely fine. But everyone else, and I mean everyone, is so, so kind. And that's just part of gym, man. It's just part of gym culture. It's, you know, we're all here, we're all the Iron family, we're all looking after ourselves, we're all just trying to do our best to be a little better. And I think that's pretty fucking awesome. So, that was a great set. Again, I'm currently in a calorie deficit, so
my main aim is to do one set, one really, really good set, and then to do what I believe is called a myo rep. That's what I keep quoting, but it's where you just take a little break and you hop right back in for another maximal effort, which usually has just earned me an extra rep. But as a result, I've been able to progress, so I think it's quite valuable. But that's all the volume I do for my chest now until the end of the week. So, with that being said, we're gonna head over and see if that row machine is available. And if not, we may go to something else, but that was some really good work. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so everything else is currently in use. So we're just gonna be warming up for our tricep extensions here, because this is something that I've not done in a long time. So I'm not exactly certain how heavy I need to go on these. I'm thinking that based on my overhead extensions, it'll probably be around the 30 kilo range. So I'm gonna jump up to 36 here and have a see. But again, this is a movement that I think I'll need to do more research into, but it's definitely one that I want to include in my program. Because that long head of the tricep, man. Okay, that might actually be a good weight to go with. The thing for me is that, one, I'm not actually sure if, something like this is better than something like cables. Ideally, I think doing, cable extensions is the best thing to do, but I've already got a lot of volume on this day, so I in terms of like number of sets. So I prefer to do a bilateral work here, just because of time. That's the main reason. Also, you could classify skull crushers as unilateral work, technically speaking. So I already have some unilateral work, but we'll see. Again, this is all a learning process, so you're going to learn with me, and I'm going to give my reasons why I'm doing things. The reason why I'm doing this is to target's the wrong word, bias the long head of the tricep. But I don't really know how long I should do these interim videos for, but that's okay. The aims here are really simple. We're just trying to find out how many reps we can do here. That's it. And we're going to do the same as we did before on our bench press, but we're going to do as many reps as we can until failure. We're going to wait for a little bit, and then we're going to finish up with maybe 1 or 2 more reps. And that's it. So, with that being said, I'm going to rest up, and we're going to get into it. You know the deal. Let's get it going. All right, everybody, it's go time. No idea how many reps we're going to get out of this, but let's just lock in and find the fuck out. We'll both learn together. How about that? Oh. Whew. Okay, good shit. Now I know some of you have reservations about training to failure. I promise you, it's very safe. You're not strong enough to hurt yourself. You're just not. This is a very, very simple movement. Something like a squat, I can see why you might make the argument there, but how many of you were doing squats at all, let alone to failure? If we're talking in the more micro sense, a lot of you don't do complex enough movements, which isn't a bad thing, that are dangerous enough to hurt you. Like doing bicep curls to failure, probably not gonna cause injury, to be honest with you. You're just not strong enough to be lifting that kind of weight. If you're doing anything less than 20 kilos for a bicep curl,
train to failure, man. It's where the gains ahead. That goes for everything, but obviously being a bit more sensible whenever you're doing more complex stuff, because it is more dangerous, but doesn't mean you shouldn't train to failure. It's always a good idea to do so. Put all your eggs in the basket, man. Oh, yeah, that was good. You see that, ladies and gentlemen? I did one set. I did 6 fucking reps. Incredible, by the way. And then I had 3 more to give. Train to failure. That's all. On to the next exercise. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting into upper back bias row and shrug. We're not really doing any warm-ups anymore, we're just doing some preparatory work, which is, I suppose you could call a warm-up, but I don't like to consider it as such, because warm-ups are very deliberate for me, they're staged, but here's a little bit of a feeder set, so to speak, with super low intensity. Okay, so we're doing 112.5 kilograms today, aiming for 5 reps. That is, by the way, across both, not one arm each. 112.5 divided by 2, looking at 56 kilos on each side. So we got another 16 kilos to add. So, oh, that's nice actually. I can add the 15 kilo plates now. That's exciting. Let me go get a 15 kilo plate. That's super exciting. I don't know if you guys will still be able to pick up my voice all the way over here, but I hope so. Oh, that's a 10 kilo plate. What am I doing? That's all right. Slam one of those on. Slam one of these on. Slam on a 5. And then we're cooking with gas. Okay, cool. One more. So, I hope you guys are, I don't know, having a great day, you know, chilling out, whatever it may be. I forget you guys are down here, aren't you? So we're just doing one more one-rep set. Just yeah, that feels good. So when we're doing this set now, because I will talk you guys through it a little bit, I'm a bit of a chalk enjoyer. It's also a stress thing. You know, the anxiety of lifting the weight is usually offset a little bit by chalking up my hands. No matter what I'm doing, it could be, you know, a leg day. It's just something very therapeutic for me to know that I've got a grip on the weight in whatever capacity I'm trying to do. And these are a fantastic piece of kit for anything that you're trying to do. But if you're rowing, if you're holding stuff, and your grip strength is failing you, because it probably is, get yourself some wrist wraps. You're not trying to train your grip strength when you're doing, you know, upper back rows like I am here. There's a time and a place for that, and it's probably in the warm-up of them. If I wanted to really focus on my grip strength, I'd probably do, you know, all my feeder sets. I'd probably put this first in my session. I'd do all my feeder sets without grip straps. I may do 2 sets of it even, but, you know, it's an ineffective way to train if you're just, you know, going through all maxes and you're not using, you know, straps. But of course, there is a, you know, if that's your preference, that's a fine thing. But I'm just letting you know as a, you know, I wouldn't be able to move this weight for the reps I'm trying to do if I didn't have myself strapped in. So just some food for thought there. And we're just gonna rest now. I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit later. My training has been going very, very well. We're currently, I think, 3 weeks out from Comic-Con, and that's my kind of big thing that I've been working up towards. My upper back has been looking deliciously shredded recently. Some TikTok videos have been really showing that off, which has been pretty awesome. Subscribers, you guys know what I'm talking about. But that's about it. It is just a process, you know, it's something very temporary. I'm not trying to be in a calorie deficit for the rest of time, but it is a great tool to use to make sure that you are, you know, lean, or at least at the very least not overweight. Right, that's enough of me chatting. We are aiming for 5 reps here on both. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to superset. I'm going to do my rows, then I'm going to do my shrugs, and I'm going to wait. You know the drill, and then we're going to do probably an extra 1 or 2 reps on both. Because again, try and train to failure, man. It's where all the good stuff is. Okay, let's lock in. Good stuff. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I am doing pause reps for these because again, the pause is during the concentric portion of the movement, not the eccentric portion of the movement. There is a difference there. Things like squats and bench, the pause would be at the eccentric, and that's where the most difficult position is. But this, concentric. And I think that's a really beneficial thing. But that was excellent. Let's keep going. We're not done yet. Job's not finished. Job is not finished. Again, we're trying to keep the elbows wider for this. Really getting that upper back. Okay. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's a job well done. That's all there is to it. That's everything. It's the whole 9, all the stuff, all the things. So anyway, as I was saying about pausing the rep, the reason that I particularly enjoy it, sorry. Whew, man. Get some water real quick. There we are, movie goes up. Hello there. So, the reason I enjoy it is from an injury prevention standpoint, as I've said previously about pause reps. However, for this one specifically, I'm afraid my knowledge is a bit lacking in terms of its benefits during concentric reps. However, I find it is a very good tempo indicator for my eccentrics. So we do want to keep the eccentrics as a slower movement compared to the concentric. So the lower, we want to be slower. And I find pausing the rep, no matter if it's just a brief pause or if you actually do a hold, is a really nice way to gauge the tempo for that drop. That's just me. There are other benefits. Unfortunately, I am not currently pertaining the knowledge to talk about it, so I apologize. But be critical. Make your own decisions. What I do is not gospel. What I do is what I enjoy, and what I hope works based on what I've learned in my time lifting. And I've found that the pause reps are nice. However, I can definitely see the argument that they are a waste. But at the end of the day, do what you enjoy, leave what you don't. That's all right. I'll do some more research for you guys so that I can tell you why I've done them previously and why I made the decision to do them. But in the meantime, I just hope that you guys are enjoying some good old work. Just some good work, just working hard. That's it. That's all she wrote. Anyway, on to the next thing. Let's see what we got left. We've got some bicep curls, and we've got some delt stuff. How many extra reps did we do there? We did 5 reps, and I think we did 2 reps on each. That's excellent. That's really excellent. Amazing stuff. Use the logbook and progress is how you do things. You just write down what you've done. You try and up the weight or up the reps each week. It's that simple. And by the way, do it like 1.25 kilos. Don't be stupid. But it works. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is second last movement. And again, we're not really doing a warm-up here. We're just doing 1 prep set, which is just of a single rep to see how we feel. And then we are going to move straight into recovering from our previous session, or set, sorry, not session, and then straight into whatever we're trying to do. So currently, looks like we're working around the 60 kilogram range. So I'm gonna warm up at 60 and go from there. But I do these unilaterally. So, in, brace, move. And that's moving quite nicely. Although I do think I could lower the seat a tad. Maybe to around there. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. So again, we're locked in, braced in. And the reason why I like doing these unilaterally is I just feel that they are much, much better at utilizing the delts, and also the reason why is you can get into, not hyperextension, but you can get into the lengthened position a lot better. And the reason why is that if you're forwards like this, the lengthened position of your delts is over here, right? Because that's where you'd stretch it. If you turn sideways, the lengthened position of your delts is now here. And you see how this is all active range? So you can do some lengthened position work for your delts. It's just a thought. It's the reason why I do it, is to do some work in the lengthened position, but it's by no means mandatory. But I do like it, so that's enough for me. It's enough of a reason. So we're going to be working at 66 kilos, which is right there. So I know this is a longer video than what you're probably used to, so I hope you are just chill, just chill the fuck out, man. But this is, I hope, a good diary of, training hard. Like actually just putting the work in. I love this, and I'm very privileged to love it. I feel terrible, like genuinely I get like, ugh. Makes me kind of weird to think about if I don't work out. So working out has become, I didn't always used to be, such a massive part of what I enjoy about my life. And I hope that in time, maybe you'll experience the same thing. And again, I'm an absolute chalk fiend. I go through, if any chalk companies come across me, I will be using your products, because currently I just get whatever's cheapest and whenever I can slap on, because I just enjoy chalking up, man. Life is good at the moment, calorie deficit's going well, we've got camera recording new things, got a few other things going on, got Patreon, custom, photo shoots going on, which is super exciting. I'm actually a model now, so that's pretty fucking cool. I'm really enjoying playing Magic the Gathering. A Final Fantasy set comes out in a few months. My birthday in June comes out after that. I've got myself a pack of collector boosters. It cost me like £400, but like I got it, so that's pretty cool. Crack open a cold one, you know? Put them in the fridge. Right. That is a good way, by the way, to tell if you have recovered is, do you still have sensation in your body? But if you're a bit impatient, play a song, and you have to wait until the song finishes. Because most songs are around 3 minutes, and that's like the bare minimum in the literature. Not really, but you know, it's recommended that you rest as long as you need. And especially if you're doing multiple sets of the same thing or multiple sets of the same muscle group. So if you're doing multiple chest exercises, yeah, you want to rest long. But I've been moving between a lot of different muscle groups. So I did chest, then I went to triceps, then I went to back and shoulders, traps, and now I'm over at delts. So because I've gone from back to delts, that's still it's on the posterior of my body, so I want to make sure that I'm recovered. But realistically speaking, I shouldn't have that much fatigue in my delts to begin with. So, it's just a little tip from me, is use a song as your rest period if you're getting patient. Okay, let's get into this. We are aiming for, let's do a check. This is why you always keep your program with you, because having knowledge of how many sets you want to, how many reps you want to do really allows you to dial in. And I've got my aims here. So, we've got 67 kilos and we're aiming for 4 to 5 reps. So in my head, we're going for that 5 reps, okay? And I may adjust that if the 3rd rep or the 2nd rep is super difficult. We may lock that into 4 reps, but we'll see. Okay, let's lock in, get it going. Fucking hell, there we go. Okay. That's 1. We now have weight, and then we go again on the left side. Good stuff. Okay, that's side number 1 done. Now we've got the other side. Now I used to do these with some extra stuff where I would lift the weight out and then let it descend back, but I don't think I can recover from that at the moment, so we have omitted it from the program. And in the ideal scenario, I'd honestly just do 2 sets, but this is not the ideal scenario, so we make do. Now, there is evidence to suggest that I should be resting between my unilateral work. However, there's not a lot of stabilizing muscles going into this. If I was doing maybe split squats, yeah. But I'm sitting down and holding onto a metal pole. So let's lock in and go. Also, in case you're curious, currently listening to extras from the Guilty Gear Strive soundtrack. Not that anyone asked. Sorry, you guys were all up in my fucking mouth there. My apologies. But that's good. Then we hit the 5 reps, so it's exactly what you want. And so for me, my goal is to keep everything between 4 to 6 reps, with the aim that if something gets 4 reps, it's on the low end. And if I'm doing 5 or 6 reps, perfect. Most of the time, if I'm doing 5 reps, I do increase the weight and I stick between the 4 and 5 rep range, but you know, that's kind of neither here nor there. It's like for this now, I could either make the decision to, next week my goal is 6 reps, or next week my goal is, pardon me, 4 reps at a higher weight. But we'll talk about that in a second. Okay. Excellent stuff. So again, as I was saying, there's an argument for either way. The reason why I usually stick to 4 to 5 reps is that based on new evidence that I've learned, not new evidence that's come out, the accumulation of sensation through mostly time and attention, and the damage that comes with that, calcium ion influx, afferent feedback. I know I'm just throwing around words which may not mean anything, but just take it for granted, I suppose. The principle is that the longer you spend working a muscle, specifically by time and attention or like number of reps, especially the duration of those reps, like keeping it in active range the whole time, will accumulate fatigue by the process of calcium ion influx. I believe that's the correct one, the correct mechanism. That's a bad thing because those ions influence, in a negative capacity, they hinder muscle activation. So muscle, I think it's neural activation. So the actin and myosin filaments inhibits that process of binding, I believe. And I may just be regurgitating the correct information in the wrong order or with the wrong associations, but the principle is that the longer you spend doing something, the worse it is. So I want to keep my reps on the medium side. I don't want to be going, not that 6 or 7 reps is bad, but that the time I spend in those reps could be. Because we're just looking to exert maximum effort with a load to accrue a stimulus so that we can respond to that and develop more muscle. That's all we're looking to do. Fatigue is not what we're looking to do. So that's that. Last set is bicep curls. I don't know if I'll be able to film that. So yeah, matter of fact, I definitely won't be able to film that because I'm going to be using a bench. So with all due respect to yourselves and the rest of the gym goers, this will be our last set, but for context, we are going to be doing, using a bench, and we're going to be doing curls, and we'll be doing 4 to 5 reps of 20 kilograms. That's it. Same thing you've seen before. We're going to reconvene probably on the walk home or at home. So I'll see you then. Deal? Deal. Well, everyone, we have finished up. We're heading home. Job's done. All that's left to do now is eat, recover, sleep, wait till tomorrow, do it all over again. It's one of the best parts about this. You just got to keep on going. Today's session was really good. I think it was better than yesterday's session because I was a bit more focused in. There wasn't so much banter going on, wasn't so many other people interacting. Obviously, we did have some lovely interactions today, but that's okay. On the whole, I think the analysis of my technique and changing it to remove some of the pause reps from my work, especially in the eccentric position, in those deep stretch positions, has been for a net benefit. I did a really good set of bicep curls where I did 5 reps and then 2 reps, which is ludicrous, to be honest with you. That's really, really good. I normally, I've been hitting 3 to 4 reps or 4 to 5 reps and then 1 rep. So that's a massive increase in performance. And again, all I was doing, I wasn't rushing the reps. That's the most important thing. I'm not rushing the reps. All I'm doing is being very intentional about my transition between the reps. Now, of course, I think you need to consider, again, the point which you utilize the stretch shortening cycle is something that is potentially dangerous, but it's unlikely to be at the current weights that we're using. If we were doing much heavier stuff, then maybe. But even still, that would be due to other factors, not because we're using the stretch shortening cycle. It would be because either I'm fatigued, I wasn't bracing properly, any number of other things. It wouldn't be the stretch shortening cycle. The stretch shortening cycle is just a thing. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just there, and it helps us produce more force. That's all it does. But session on the whole, absolutely incredible. Means I can improve my weight or reps on, I think, every exercise. For next week, the tricep extensions I really enjoyed as well, so those will be a nice addition. Currently with that, so I've got bicep curls, tricep extensions, and overhead press, which I'm kind of cycling through. Overhead press is the lowest priority, but I do have shoulder injuries, elbow injuries, so I do want to put some volume of that in because I haven't done it in a very long time. So we're going to put those in every now and then, and it will be on this Tuesday and Friday that we fit one of those in. And I think that's going to be a really fun thing to do. I also just want to get more movement in, more steps, that kind of stuff, because I think it's just really good for you. And it also means that I can take out some of my abdominal volume as well, because again, I really nailed in on my abdomen because it's one of my weakest aspects. But now that I'm getting leaner, it's not as evident that it's as weak because I'm obviously got less fat mass around my abdomen. And I also think that just keeping that to 2 sets per week is probably more than enough, to be honest with you. Especially considering I can go Monday and Wednesday, or like Monday and Friday if I really want to, as an abdomen set, and I think that's absolutely fine. But this is all decisions. These are all the decisions that we have to think about and we have to make, and there is no right answer, there's no wrong answer. But I think that in order to improve, doing them at a 2-day interval is better, because currently I was doing them at a three-day interval, but I was doing them Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday because of commitments and other things on Thursday and Friday, and just the desire to not do them on those days, which is its own thing. But this set, this day, incredible. Goals for next week, again, just do more work, do more reps, do more sets, sleep better. Make sure, I'm feeling a bit of diet fatigue, I will admit. I really wanted to eat some fucking cookies today, but at the same time, I want more to push myself and see, what kind of happens when I go for these next 3 weeks, what my body does, how I respond, that kind of thing. That's more important to me. Secondarily to that, though, is that I don't want to rebound. I don't want to, relapse, rebound, have a negative change about my my diet when I move from deficit to either maintenance or surplus. And that's literally just because in the past I often find that I really just want to eat a shit ton of food. Not all of it is good food. When I come back from a deficit, I'm just scoffing cookies every other day. And that's me. That's just part of who I am, who I'm unlearning. Or who I was, I should say. Let's give myself some credit. But that's for, stuff to come. It's easier to go, a little bit less far. If it is, well, it's probably more sensible. It's not easier. Nothing about this is easy, but it is very simple. If I were to, stop the deficit, I would feel that I hadn't accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. It's rather simple, it's all really is to it. And I know I have a lot more to give in this deficit because I don't want to go into a deficit often. So I really want to push myself with care and compassion to make sure that I don't develop any bad eating habits or things of that nature. But I think 3 weeks from now, if I can keep some sense in my head, I can come out of this with a a really nice looking physique and hopefully the attitude to keep it at a more manageable level with my food. Because I can eat some fucking food, let me tell you that. In any case, we're gonna cut now to the house and we will do a little posing and all that kind of stuff then. So let's cut to that. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. We're back, quite simply. We're back home, and I don't know why I'm clipping myself in here, because I'm immediately going to be removing this, but we had a great session, so let's just do a little bit of just some momentary posing. We won't worry about the legs, even though they are out and about. We'll just focus on my upper body here, and I'm gonna have you guys down here as a reference point. So let's get this off, and then I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna attach you guys, if I can, to my Toji Fushiguro necklace, because I think that will work. We're just gonna have a see. This is a bit of a makeshift setup we got going on here, but that's okay, because I'm not gonna be able to attach it to my skin. I don't think that's gonna work. There we go. Let's just try. That is so scuffed. Perfection. Look at that. That's perfect, isn't it? Amazing. So, upper body. Let's do some flexing, shall we? So first of all, this is what I look like, ladies and gentlemen. This is what my body actually looks like. This is what a human Briz looks like, as opposed to, you know, a dragon Briz or an elf. Actually, no, I am an elf, so, you know, because I got the point. You may not be able to see, but I actually have pointed ears. So, that's, wait a minute, no, this is, my FBI agent's gonna get across. Anyway, this is currently what we're working on. Let's make sure we got some room here. Tell you what, move ourselves just across a little bit. Whew. You know what? This is still a work in progress. Let's pop you guys there so I know what I'm looking at. And that way I can really be sure that I'm looking at the same thing. Let's do some side chest. Again, I'm not using like crazy lighting here or whatever. We could get some front light going if that would be better, but part of this, I suppose, is just showing you that people just look like things, you know? It'll take a minute to actually get going, so in the meantime, let's do tricep. Okay, other side. Hopefully we can get a light going as well for this. There we go. This may go off in a second, I don't know. That remains to be seen. In any case. Again, not the best at posing. It's a work in progress. We're learning. Tricep. My posing is not the best. I apologize. I'm not a very practiced poser. Also, again, some of you may be curious. Yes, I don't know, but a lot of people do leave hateful comments about me having gynecomastia. Not gyno, it is gynecomastia. I've never been medically diagnosed, but there is a high likelihood, just given the shape of my pectorals. This is how I live. I've always been like this. It's not been a new thing, just how I look. So, what are you going to do? In any case, onto the back. I think a real strong point of this calorie deficit has been my back. Okay, nice. And we'll do a lat spread if I can. Felt pretty good.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that felt pretty good. In any case, that's all I really think I will pose. I don't really have anything else to do. So this is what I currently look like, probably 85.2 kilograms. If I were trying to compete, I would need to be so much leaner. I got a lot of fat mass on me still, but we're just, we're just chipping in. We're just trying to look a bit better. And hopefully lose some of this extra mass from Christmas period. I have no concept of how much mass I'd actually have to lose, probably a good 10 kilos or so if I was actually going to get super lean, which is a crazy thing to think about because, again, I've been, an 80 kilo, 90 kilo gamer for like years. I think I remember stepping on the scale under 80 kilos one time. So that just goes to show, I'm not that muscular. I am muscular, but I'm not the most overly bearingly muscular. But I think that with our current training and what we've currently got going on, that we will be able to put on a decent amount of size, maybe even a good amount of size. And hopefully, get some more muscle in the process and look a lot better while doing it. In any case, that's everything for today. Have a great evening. Have a great day. Go to bed. Sleep well. Good night.